It's very rare that I make things that actually work, but sometimes it actually does. Well, it's almost Halloween, and my main attraction, well, it almost suffered a catastrophic failure. I did figure out what was wrong with it, and luckily I had to order some parts, and they just got in, and I have put it in the new circuit. I also made it so that if it happens again, and luckily I ordered 2 pairs, so if this one fails, I will be able to run it on half power pretty easily. I can switch it, and it'll be pretty safe, although not quite as impressive. It's all put together, so I'm not going to be able to show the circuit again this time, but eventually I'll get around to it. I've changed a few things. I've tried a few things. This was my bottom of my secondary that I tried, so I can have really tight coupling. I tried to make it the same frequency to get the power from this, but it doesn't transmit. So anyway, that pretty much doesn't work. I have also made a new remote. This is the old one. It has a 555 timer in it. Looks pretty bad, but it took actually a while to try to make sure that the range was just right, because if the knob goes too far and it blows it up every time, then that would just be a pain. But I figured this time, why not get a little more fancy? I have put in a Atmel microcontroller that I always like to use. They're really easy to program. And I built another one. It's only got one knob, but I ordered from Electronics Gold Mine a key. So now, without the key, you can't turn it on. Unfortunately, you can take the key off while it's turned on. But anyway, that's what you get for buying a 50-cent part. I also made another change. Last time you saw it, I was running through a 100-watt light bulb. Now this thing, it probably uses around 100 watts or 150 watts, especially the way that I've modified it now. It's got a 3-amp fuse, used to be running off of a 2-amp fuse. But now I've got it, so when I turn it on, it's going to slow charge. That's the reason that I had the light bulb in it to begin with. Originally, when I just hooked up the capacitors, of course, it'd blow the fuse. And I wanted to use as small a fuse as possible so I wouldn't hurt any electronics. But now, as it charges through the small light bulb, it'll trip a relay and then cut out the light bulb. So now it's essentially plugged into a wall. I think I will show you first what I call mode B. This key, even though it's got 4 positions, it really only has 2 that are usable. So I programmed that Atmel chip to make it a little scarier. So I'm going to first show you that. While I was building this and trying to test it out, making sure I wouldn't blow anything while I was programming the circuit. Of course, if I programmed it wrong and I held the thing on, then of course it would immediately destroy itself. So I had to go through a little bit and make sure that it was shielded right and it would reset itself so it wouldn't stay on over a certain amount of time. But when I was testing it, because of the nature of the waveform that I put into it, it was difficult for me to tell. Let me scoot a little bit further away from it. There we go. I couldn't tell if it was working quite right. But anyway, for Halloween, this is what I'm going to have. I'm sure you can see those sparks fairly well. It's a bit unnerving sitting here listening to that racket. It is pretty loud. I don't have it running at the 400 amps that I used to. I've made a little bit bigger breakouts, so that doesn't store up quite as much energy. So I'm not sure if it's going to reach the 2 feet. But I'm hopefully not going to have it hit any ground targets, so it shouldn't change the frequency too much, so the overcurrent protection is set around 300 amps. The previous way was 400 amps, and eventually the transistors decided they weren't going to take that abuse anymore. This is mode A. I would like to be able to adjust the frequency, but it's set at a current frequency. But I can adjust the power. pretty cool, but not quite as scary. So for Halloween, hopefully, if nothing else works, if nothing else gets some of the mummy and the skeleton and the phantasms and the guy coming out of the grave, hopefully this will get on.